this will intertwine with my segue into my political discussion for this evening. I hope that a person who's watching that documentary has the cognizance to understand, to look into it deeper, not just from the perspective of the documentarians, but of the whole case as a whole. And that's what I'm doing right now. I have located the transcripts for the Brendan Dassey trial, available to the public. All you have to do is Google search, Google search Stephen Avery trial transcripts. You won't. The first actual search hit you'll get is the Brendan Dassey trial transcripts. I actually haven't found the Stephen Avery trial transcripts yet. I am going to find those as well, but I'm going to kind of work backwards, maybe. And I mean, so much backwards. Well, in the sense that yes, I'm looking at the trial of the accessory to murder before the actual person who is charged with the murder. But that's why I'm going to go with it, because Brendan Dassey's case kind of precedes Stephen Avery's convictional case, in that a lot of what Brendan Dassey actually tells the police leads to the conviction of Stephen Avery. So maybe it's more important to start there, I guess. That's what I'm going to do. And to give you an idea of the scope of what I'm reading, the first day is 256 pages. 256 pages. 256 pages alone on the first day. I'm through the first 127. That basically took a little over an hour. And when I haven't been involved in watching a trial actually occur, the actual trial itself, and many of you haven't either, I'm sure. You watch Judge Judy and you think that's how a trial goes. It's not how it goes. But I do know, I do feel that, and it gives me great comfort that a trial is a very detailed and, in that sense, kind of boring ordeal for a juror to listen to. And they do go into amazingly in-depth detail. And when you're discussing the person's life is in your hands, as far as being sentenced to jail for the rest of his life, maybe even the death penalty, that's probably the way it should be anyway. I would imagine you'd agree with me on that. And so the transcripts, I've gotten through the prosecution's opening statements and the defense opening statements, and basically to the first two witnesses called to by the prosecution, that being Karen and Katie Hallbeck, the mother and the younger sister, subsequently. And you get questions, and then I guess you just have to ask these questions. You can't just assume the jury knows. The first question asked to Katie Hallbeck is, "What's your relationship to Teresa Hallbeck?" She's her mom, But you have to ask that question. You get the names of all the family members. You show pictures of Teresa Hallbeck to the mother, and you get the the confirmation that this is Teresa Hallbeck. Yes, this is what she looked like, and that's that, and this and that, and even to the point where you're asking your younger sister, and showing your younger sister a picture of her volleyball coaching days, and that's your sister in the background, the coach. This gives you a kind of sense of the detail that we're going to go into reading these transcripts together. And that's what we're going to do. We're not going to read them. I can't read them to you verbatim right now. I'm just going to give you the transcripts, the highlights, so to speak. And if I find things in the transcripts, by the way, that I find intensely important to this case, I have the advantage of giving you the website, which I will give to you, that has these transcripts, and they are numbered. Each page is numbered all the way down from 1 to, 30 or something like that. Each line. So you can pick out a line and give a page, and you can correspond that, and you can read that line and that page and bring it up on your own website and say to yourself, well, okay, this is interesting. Just like I'm going to, at some point in this trial, understanding that they're telling the jurors that they're going to show this 3.5-hour interview of Brendan Dassey, but they're probably not going to unfortunately for me, not going to transcribe that on the court documents. So I'm going to have to watch the 3.5-hour interview. I plan to start doing that this week. I'm not going to do it at 3.5 hours straight. And what my plan here is to watch it 20-minute stretches or so, because I really want to listen and be alert that 20-minute period. If you listen to the whole 3.5 hours straight, you're going to doze off. You're going to, your mind's going to wander. So I think I can do it in 20-minute stretches. I can really pay attention to the questions and the answers and the way things are framed. And I say this because the opening statements of the prosecution, reading those opening statements of the prosecution in the Brendan Dassey case, like, whoa, whoa. Suddenly that Netflix documentary has some holes punched in it quickly. Let's just put it that way. And I'm just going to give you a brief. I can't go over the whole thing, apparently. Obviously, it would take too long. A brief summary of the prosecution's opening statements in the Brendan Dassey case. And here it is. Brendan Dassey being interviewed and eventually being interrogated. And they explain the difference between being interviewed as a witness and being interrogated as a suspect, being a very important matter in the situation. At some point, there is denial, and most innocent people stick with denial. And when presented with the police telling them they know what happened, an innocent person will say, "Good, you see, I didn't do it." While a guilty person will switch from denial to admission. And in their opinion, that's what happened here with the Brendan Dassey interviews. Several of them were actually taking place, by the way. The 3.5 original interview, the one they're keen on is the one where he goes from denial to admission. And the documentary series will give you the impression that he was coerced and fed, so to speak, the information that only the murderer and the collaborator would have been aware of. And so that's the prosecution's opening statement. It mainly goes with only Brendan Dassey knew that Teresa Halbach's possessions, her cell phone and her PDA, were thrown in the burn barrel. Only Brendan Dassey could have known that she was shot twice in the head and 9 more times, 11 shotgun shells, by the way, which were found. 11 shotgun shells with a number of shotgun shells found in the garage. Only the person assisting the murderer could have known that. Only Brendan Dassey could have known that the clothes were thrown on top of the body in the burn pile, hence the jeans that she was wearing that were given the impression she was wearing. What they were called, I forget what they were called. They had a specific name brand where the buttons actually had the name brand on it. Those buttons were found in the fire pit with that name brand on it. Again, this is information you didn't get to see in a documentary, and this is the opening statements from the prosecution. It opened my eyes quickly. Whoa, where was this in the documentary? Documentary only kind of glances over the fact that Stephen Avery is told. We slow it down. Brendan Dassey says that his uncle opened the hood. Because Brendan Dassey said his uncle opened the hood is the reason they did the Q-tips to look for DNA under the hood. Because Brendan Dassey says that she was shot in the garage, they do it deeper in the garage, looking for bullets specifically. Because Brendan Dassey says that her clothes were thrown on top of the fire after she was burned, that they look for the buttons on the jeans that she liked to wear, that she bought at Kohl's apparently, and were jeans that were her younger sister joked were old person jeans, and those jeans, her younger sister presented the jeans that she bought like them, and the buttons had a designer name on them, and those buttons were found in the burn pit. Because there was the car seat from the very van that Stephen Avery was using to get Teresa Halbach to take a picture on his property, was tore out from the van and thrown onto the fire to help burn the fire even brighter and stronger. I hope you can follow me on this. It was a two-person job, and the prosecution wants to keep elaborating on that. It took two people to do this theory as they're trying to get Brendan Dassey as an accomplice. And that's the basis for the prosecution opening statements that I read. And the basis for the defense strategy in their opening statements is that Brendan Dassey changed the story constantly and was fed information. So the big key in the whole case, as far as the defense, as well as the prosecution really here is, did the police know these things before they asked Brendan Dassey these questions? Did the police know about where the PDA and the cell phone were from the burn barrel? Did the police know about the plates that were put in a junk car? Did the police know about Stephen Avery opening up the hood latch? Did the police know about the 2 shots to the head, 1 to the left of the head, 1 to the back of the head, and 9 shots, 11 shots in total in the garage? Or did Brendan Dassey, telling them this stuff, lead them to find this information? Including the fact that Brendan Dassey, which I'm sure you didn't know, Brendan Dassey actually admits in one of his statements that he saw his uncle with the key going into his bedroom. Not on the Netflix documentary series, no. And it was very biased, so obviously we wouldn't expect that to be the case. And these are the kind of things that I'm going to watch for in this interview / what starts out as an interview and maybe is looking to be still, and is viewed by the documentary as an interrogation. It's a fine line. It really is. And I hope you will too. As I can't do this, I'm going to give you the YouTube site where you watch the whole 3.5 hour Gadoo, the 3.5 hour interview. I can mark down times where I see periods where something fishy is going on, so to speak, where something's not right. And we have to look for, because now that I've seen the transcripts of the opening statements for the prosecution, what we have to look for is points in time when the police are basically feeding this information. If you watch the interview, you have to find a spot where the police tell. We see the big Netflix, gotcha moment when they sit there and say, well, they get so frustrated, they basically tell them she was shot in the head. Where was she shot? Who shot her? Who shot her? She was shot in the head. Who shot her? Well, we have to have a few more of those. Obviously, looking at these prosecution's opening statements, a few more of those somewhere in that 3.5 hour interview where he's told information, where they tell him, we found the PDA cell phone, the burn barrel, we found the plates in a junk car, we found the clothes, the buttons, the jeans, and the clothes in the fire pit, the bullets in the garage. Obviously, then he has to either he knows this before they know it. Well, this is what it comes down to. He knows this before they know it, or they know it before he knows this, and they feed it to him. Okay? Hey. Huh. That's a long discussion on the Steve Avery case. Longest I've probably talked. This is the longest I've talked on any point in time in my podcast. This is almost like a regular podcast where you're probably bored right now and saying, where the fuck's the music? Okay. Well, here the fuck it is.
Hey, freeze, bitch!
You freeze, bitch!
Oh, shit. I'm fucked.
Now back up, put the gun down, and give me a pack of tropical fruit Bubblicious. And some Skittles.
Hey, man, I'm joining a religious cult.
Now that's ridiculous.
Well, I'm joining it, so you gotta sign up, too.
What are you talking about?
Hey, don't fuck me on this, man. Just sign up.
No, I'm not gonna join a cult.
I can't believe you're pulling this shit on me after Monday night.
What?
I wanted to watch Monday Night Football, and you wanted to watch that other show, and we watched your show. I did that for you.
Yeah, well, you kept flipping back to the game.
I wanted to see the fucking score! What do you gotta do that's so fucking important? You can't join the religious cult with me.
Well, I was gonna go sunbathing.
Oh, boy. No, I don't think you should do that, because this guy, Russell, he's the leader guy of the cult. He was rambling on during one of his speeches about the sun being bad. Like the beast can't come out because the sun's too bright and it hurts his eyes or something. You show up all sunburned, that guy's going to be pissed at you and me.
Well, I'm not in the cult, so I don't have to worry about pissing the leader guy off.
Look, I'm starting to believe in some of the stuff the cult guy's been saying. Some of it makes a lot of sense.
Well, good, but I don't want to join the cult. I can still still hang out. I just won't be in it with you.
The point is, I'm not gonna have time to hang out with you because I'm gonna be fucking busy with this fucking cult.
Well,